Okay, making sounds. Hi again. Hopefully you've got a chance to get your instrument out. You know how to put it together. You know how the valves are, where to put your fingers on it. We'll talk a little bit more about that in this video. But for right now, let's talk a little bit about how do we start making a sound on the instrument. Well, if you've never played a wind instrument before or a brass instrument, it's going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little silly. Let me show you. Now, as I set my instrument down, I'm making sure it has a place to lean up against so it won't fall over, making sure it's secure. I'm going to take the mouthpiece out of the instrument, and we're just going to use this as a demonstration purposes to get a sound started going, okay? Now, when you go to start playing on the tuba, the way you shape your mouth and the way you use your air to blow through the mouthpiece is what gives it its sound. And some people will call it kind of like a buzzing sound because it is vibration on your lips. But it's also important to think about how do you control it, because if you're not doing it correctly, the sound you get could be all over the place. So let me give you a couple examples. What I tend to do is I tend to relax my mouth, and I'm going to aim for the mouthpiece being about halfway above my lips and halfway below my lips, with the corners still hanging out the sides, okay? About right here. Now as I do that, I'll feel the lips push up against my teeth a little slightly. As they do that, I'm going to firm them with a little bit of a smile in my mouth so I can go like that. Now, you might even want to take your hand, because if you don't, you might do this. You might end up going and your lips will fall forward. If that happens, you're going to have a difficulty getting a buzz. The way you get that buzz is to keep the pressure on the corners of your mouth nice and firm so that the lips are tightened up together. It's also important we make sure our teeth aren't tight together like this, or that'll happen. We want a little bit of a space in between our teeth. You might even want to take your finger and just put it in between your teeth. That's about as much space as you're going to need to be able to get enough sound. You'll also want to think of, when your lips are together, think of a straw in the middle of your lips that you're holding together, kind of like a small tube. And when you do that, try to hold on to this imaginary tube so that you can get a little bit of a sound. Now, if your lips go too loose, you're going to get a sound like this. That's not going to be very good for getting a lot of the sounds on tuba. Now, if you do it too tight like this, like an elephant, first of all, you'll feel tension there in your throat. You don't want that. You want to have a nice relaxed throat, and you want to use your lips just to... You can go ahead and try this on your mouthpiece, and this is the sound we're trying to go for. We want to try to hold it nice and steady for a few counts. One thing to do is make sure you sit up nice and tall. If you're sitting slouched like this, you're not going to be able to get much power behind your sound. So make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Take one more breath and go. That'll give you the sound we're going for. Okay, so how does that translate to the instrument? Let's see if we can get a note on the instrument using the buzzing that we were just doing. Now, if you're still having a little bit of trouble with this, go back and review what we just talked about. Try it a few more times. It might be worth it to even try it without the mouthpiece quite a few times, just going until you've developed a little bit stronger muscles in your mouth. Then go to the mouthpiece. And that'll help you kind of develop your embouchure. The muscles in this mouth take a little bit, they're very tiny and they get tired very quickly. So if any time you're ever feeling tired and your mouth feels sore, just take a moment to relax. They'll heal up a little bit, maybe come back maybe an hour later or so when they're a little more relaxed, try it again, and so on. So go ahead and try that. Now, once you've gotten to that point, it's time to start putting it into the instrument. So I go ahead and I put my mouthpiece on. Nice little small twist, not hitting it, okay? I'm going to go for one specific note. And what we're going to do is we're just going to call this note F for right now, just to give it a letter name. It's technically the note F on the instrument, and when you start learning how to read the notes a little bit better, it'll be very similar. All right, so we set our instrument up, make sure it's the right height for us. If it's not the right height, remember what we can do is we can adjust our legs a little bit, and we could also get a tuba stand to set the instrument on. We definitely do not want to be hunching down on the tuba like this, and we don't want to be reaching up really high like this to play it. We want to be able to have a nice, relaxed grip so the instrument can set up right in front of us. All right, so we got our note. Put it into the mouthpiece holder. That's the note we're trying to go for. Now, if for some reason you're getting a different pitch, you could be getting something like this. You're definitely too tight up here, okay? That means you're going to need to relax just a little bit. And relax on that pitch. Now, if you're getting a lower pitch, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you might need to use a little bit more air, and you might need to firm up your arm or shoulder. So if you're doing something like this, it's real airy. It's probably your lips are falling into the mouthpiece, and they're not being firmed up enough to be able to hold the pitch steady. Good. Now, when we start a note on the tuba, for general purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to start it with a little bit of a tu, tu, a tu. We're using our tongue on the inside of our teeth to say almost the word ta, but we're pulling it back. We're going ta, 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 and then relaxing the tongue to say on the bottom of our mouth. So we go to, to, to. Try that a few times. To. Then when we do it on the mouthpiece, the notes will come out much cleaner. Now it's important also when you do this to that you don't have an explosion of air. You don't go to, to, or else you're going to hear sounds like this. That's not what we're really going for. What we like to have is a nice controlled sound, a nice controlled tone that just starts and stops, starts and stops. Now, if you can get that, you're about ready to start being able to play some different notes on the instrument. What you want to start doing is start being able to feel notes above and below that note. It is possible on brass instruments, you'll notice that we could get some high notes and some low notes to get other notes, but we want to do it in a controlled way. So let me show you an example. I'm going to take the note we start on F, and I'm going to drop it down to a lower note without pressing any buttons. I'm not going to do any button changes, no valves. You might want to try this on your own too. Starting on the pitch, and then what you're going to do is relax your lips, but you're going to keep the air flowing through the instrument, flowing through your lungs, pushing from down in your stomach to be able to push the air through the instrument slightly. Now, if you can do that, and try to do it controlled when you exactly want it to go. The more control you get over this, the more you're going to be able to play other notes, and other songs will become much easier. Another way to do this is to go up. Now, you notice I raised my eyebrows. You don't need to raise your eyebrows. I raised my eyebrows just to give you an indication I was going to change notes. What you really need to more focus on is pulling the mouth back a little bit, going tui, tui, and pushing the air slightly to get the airspeed to go up. And as you get better at this, those tones will become much more centered and much more clear. All right, so now we've gotten a few notes. Let's start talking a little bit about using the valves. Now, we don't necessarily need to learn how to read notes on the music staff to be able to do this. We eventually do, and up on the site there is a fingering chart which will help you understand the valve combination to what the actual notes are. But let's start learning the song.